Okay, so I wasn't originally going to make a whole separate video about this movie, but well, and I kind of want to talk about this as soon as possible, so I'm making this as a separate video. So yeah, bye, enjoy. I don't like Illumination. I still don't like them. They haven't earned my respect quite yet, and I'm going to be giving this entire review through gritted teeth. But Sing 2. Sing 2. Hey, if you can sing, I can sing too. I'm getting distracted. Sing 2 is a movie. And that's about the biggest compliment I've given to an Illumination product since Despicable Me. I wanted to hate this movie so fucking bad. I really, really did, but I just didn't. The trailers looked like total ass. Just a bunch of random clips of random stuff with no evident link, some groan-worthy narration, bullshit inspirational text, and Levitating by Dua Lipa playing in the background. Based on Illumination's sequel history, and by the way, half of their entire catalog is sequels, I fully expected this movie to sink lower than the first one did. And right away, this movie opens by reminding you of the Minions, which they honestly need to distance themselves from. But Sing was one of the Illumination products that I disliked less than the other ones. Sing had a good core to it, but was just executed not so well. So I held out a little hope. I gave Sing 2 a chance. It's not on any streaming service yet, so I had to rent this shit on YouTube. And somehow, this sequel didn't feel like a totally manufactured and forced rush job for a quick buck. It might even be a little good. The sequel to Sing, of all movies. Sing! If you were to make a list of all the movies that the public was interested in seeing a follow-up to, Sing would for sure be close to last, probably right next to The Secret Life of Pets and Minions. There were many parts of this that I found myself shaking my head at, but overall, this movie's pretty damn good. For this company, of course, but like, still. I'll swallow my pride. I'll admit that I had a decent time watching this movie. I'm blown away that Illumination managed to make something I enjoyed sitting through more than Disney this year. What has the world come to? Okay, well, I guess I don't know how much of an accomplishment it is to do something better than Disney at this point, but still. As a documented Illumination hater, I don't feel good giving this movie any compliments, but I simply can't deny the genuine feelings I felt during this movie. It was kind of like when I saw The Croods 2. I kind of thought the first one was boring and unspecial, but the sequel kind of salvaged the characters for me and got even crazier with its premise. Now, before I shower this movie with compliments, there is a lot wrong with Sing 2, and I can totally see certain other people still hating it. Let's see, there's still too many characters, for sure. Everyone from the last movie is back, except for Seth MacFarlane Mouse, who died, I guess, I don't know. And then they introduced like 5 more that you have to keep track of. Each one of them has their own arc, and for every genuinely kind of good one, there's a stupid and ridiculous one. Tori Kellyfant develops a crush on this boy, and their meet cute is so ridiculous and cringe that I was fully expecting that to lead to some sort of punchline.
You look like a goddess, and lucky for you, it's free ice cream for all Goddesses Day.
Oh my god, it's so dumb. This is so dumb.
But of course, for that part, they were being totally straight. As much as I like Johnny, I didn't like his conflict with the mean monkey man who looks like ass. That whole entire thing was just kind of pretentious. So like, Johnny is first mad at the monkey man for being so mean to him during training, which fine. But then he trains and gets better with outside help, and then the monkey man is mad at Johnny now. And then when Johnny's doing his performance, the monkey man runs out on stage and tries to sabotage him. So when he was bad, you tried to make him better. And when he got better, you tried to make him bad again. Also, why are they playing Sky Full of Stars during this scene? This is supposed to be a huge battle. Bring back the Elton John. Rosita developing a fear of heights out of nowhere was really dumb. Doesn't really show much about her character. And then there was the subplot with the old lion rock star, which was total bullshit. It's like Illumination has watched other movies where a similar thing happened, like the main characters have to convince this old guy to come back and do the thing he used to love before something happened that made him quit and shut out the whole world. That's common enough, and it can be done really well, but I don't think they understand what makes that storyline work. This is like a truly one-dimensional character. He hardly does anything. The way Ash convinces the lion guy to come do the show is by sitting on his front porch and playing one of his songs for him. What? Earlier, she was talking to him and she was saying like, do it for your wife. Is this what she would have wanted? And he said no. So how is this a logical next step? And then they try to do the exact same thing during the climax, the show at the end of the movie. Lion Guy gets cold feet right before he's gonna go out on stage, so Ash goes out on stage and sings his song, and then he's like, okay, I'll come out. Like, it just happens. It's not possible to take this seriously. If they leaned a little more towards the comedy side, like Despicable Me, yeah, then I think it would work a lot better. And I think that's what annoys me the most about Sing and Sing 2. How seriously these movies take themselves. Well, that, and their incessant need to cram as many pop songs as possible into the running time. Illumination bought the rights to so many f***ing songs that they clearly didn't know what to do with all of them. I'm just gonna put in a list of all the songs in this movie. I'll just have it scrolling right next to me while I talk. Once they filled all the spaces they needed for the actual musical numbers with other songs, I assume they were like, but we can't just not use these extra songs we have the rights to. So the leftover songs are just like background music. They don't do anything transformative with the leftover songs. They just play the original songs. Not even a cover. They just play the song. Like during this dumbass scene where everyone's sneaking past security, they just play Billie Eilish's Bad Guy as background music, and it doesn't really fit with what you're seeing on screen. Duh. Or in this other scene where Tori Kellyfin is eating ice cream while staring at the boy she has a crush on, they start playing Shawn Mendes' Senorita.
Girl, that is your fourth today. I know.
It's only distracting and annoying and adds nothing to the scene that couldn't be done with just, you know, a normal movie score. And at one point, during some stupid chase scene with some security guards, I don't even remember, they play what I think the internet knows as the Grubhub delivery dance song.
They're heading east through the back lot. Go.
I physically put my head in my hands when that happened. Oh yeah, and remember like a minute ago when I mentioned that they used Dua Lipa's Levitating in the trailer? That song's only in the trailer. They couldn't even find anywhere to put it in the movie. They had so many songs. Is there more? Are we almost done? Okay, we're almost done. Okay. The Sing cinematic universe remains a lazy excuse to have a loud, colorful musical without actually writing any songs. They don't even try to disguise how lazy they're being, because the whole point of the movie is singing other people's songs. The show within this movie that contains all the big performances at the end is basically just an anthology. There's no strong narrative link, it's just songs. At least with another jukebox musical like Trolls, the entire world is built around music, as opposed to it just being the normal world. It's less blatant, except for the fact that they're animals, which there's still no reason for them to be animals, but I guess they're locked into this dumb premise now. Because the only reason this sequel was even conceived was so that they could do it again, but bigger. Buster has to lie to everyone in order to get his show going, just like he did in the last movie. The whole thing leads up to the gang doing the huge live show at the end where each character gets their own number and some shit happens during these performances that elicits character development just like last time, but then everyone frickin' loves the show so much that some scout from a huge theater books their show, just like how Rich Sheep Lady saved the theater with her money last time. Only this time, I'm confused because why would a huge theater endorse a show where all the music is stolen? They didn't write any original songs for the show because they cobbled the whole thing together in 3 weeks. And I do mean 3 weeks. That's the conceit of this movie.
I'll give you 3 weeks to get this show up and running.
That Buster Moon lied his way into getting a slot at this huge hotel and then has to prepare a big-ass production with spaceships and giant sets and a shitload of moving parts and all these lights in 3 weeks. And they write the entire show, get the rights to all the songs, get all the actors, build all the sets, get all the lights and stuff, rehearse, and it all comes out perfect in 3 weeks. And then during this big show at the end, there's some like fallout between Moon and the guy who owns a hotel, and so he doesn't want them to do the show anymore. But then he goes behind his back, distracting every single security personnel in the building, so they can invite the entire hotel to come see the show they're somehow putting on behind the hotel owner's back without him noticing. They're just able to put this whole thing on without permission. This is so stupid. But with all that being said, I enjoyed Sing 2 significantly for a few reasons. Number one, the whole thing was a lot more interesting than the first movie. All this stuff in it, the scale is bigger, the performances are more extravagant, more stuff happens. And that's good in this case because it's a movie all about one of the most fun things to do in life. Singing. When you sing, it should be epic. It should make you feel epic. The first movie had some good performances, yeah, but the stupid filler was way more atrocious. But the second one went all out on the... Well, I think this other guy whose review I watched, Awesome May, said it good. The second one really embraced the big music feeling. Also, I think they've improved on their animation. I mean, it's still not that good, but it's not awful. The colors and the sleek architecture of everything looks good. The heavy lighting does a lot to disguise and draw away from some of the lazy lip syncing, weird textures, and the gross proportions of a lot of these characters. That's a weird thing I've noticed about Illumination's animation. They're either super chubby and thick, or so skinny that I could probably snap them in half like a dry spaghetti noodle. The general presentation was done pretty well, especially in the musical scenes like this fun Alice in Wonderland rendition of Prince's Let's Go Crazy. And there were even some interesting shots in the talking scenes I was able to pick out. Like this one where Buster's riding his bike next to a taxi trying to talk to Suki, which gets a callback at the very end. That was a fun little thing. Or this one where it looks like they're walking down a hallway, but then they zoom out and they're walking on the rings of this giant planet model. I don't know if I appreciated these little hints of creativity more because I was looking for them or not, but nonetheless, I sensed some effort. I got a lot more of that sense of personality that makes animated movies so special to me. Number two, the plot, while being very much structured the same way as Sing 1, and also there's some suspension of disbelief required for this whole big show thing. Beyond that, it's pretty solid. I'm having trouble explaining why I like the direction of this movie's story more than the last one. Maybe because it felt a little more focused, because every mini-arc was much more logically tied to the main story, because it just felt less stupid in general, or maybe it all just comes back to the first point I made that everything was bigger and therefore more engaging. Anyhow, following all the mini-arcs wasn't too much of a chore. I felt the stakes of what was going on, which I can't stress enough I have not been able to say about an Illumination product in 10 years.
Oh my god, why does this always happen? Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay, where was I? The story flowed pretty well with minimal to no stupid, dumb, meandering filler. And so the story felt very purposeful. Now, whether or not the purpose of the story actually succeeded is up for debate, but the purpose is there. The writing was good, things made sense, the jokes and humor was they were not totally insulting, and actually made me laugh a fair few times. So like, the bare essentials for making a passable kids animated movie were all covered. And if I was literally talking about any other movie besides Sing, Motherfucking 2, then that would be a totally backhanded compliment. But for Illumination, this is high praise. Wait, are you serious? Oh, come... Okay, well, I could record those lines again, but that would be stupid. And I'm not stupid. And 3, I genuinely liked the characters this time and their mini-arcs. Not only did the old cast, Moon, Miss Crawley, Mina, Ash, Johnny, Rosita, even Gunter, the worst part of Sing 1. Not only do all of them get more to do and more reasons for me to like watching them, but I also really enjoyed the new characters, and that is rare. Case in point, Suki was kind of just in the background the whole time, but she was amusing, and seeing her taking a liking to Moon and turning against her boss was nice. Also, she was kind of hot. Portia was pretty delightful with her whole spoiled rich teenager thing. She made me laugh when she called it Sky-Fi instead of sci-fi.
Oh my gosh, I love Sky-Fi.
Her actual character was about as deep as a dinner plate, and her flip-flop and motivation at the end just doesn't make any sense. But she had some great standalone moments, most notably her performance during the big show at the end. She throws a temper tantrum about having the lead role taken away from her, but then she comes back to be this alien instead, and she freaking owns it. And also stands up to her old, mean dad. So, you know what? Good for her. Plus, she's kind of... Is that really her fucking name? Nushi, the street dancing lynx who dresses like an arcade lobby from the 80s is decorated, mentors Johnny, probably the only character from the original Sing who I actually like. She's cool and she's spunky and they make a great duo. And they're both Cockney, which I feel like might be a big reason I gravitate towards them. Their voices bring a lot of charm to their characters.
How come you don't have a choreographer?
I do, but it turns out he's a massive weirdo.
Okay, so I actually forgot about this guy when I wrote the script and then recorded the video, but there's this guy named Darius. He's like Mina's dance partner in the big like romantic scene they're gonna do at the show. And basically, he's like a huge jerk the entire movie.
In the future, if you could not interrupt me, that would be way better.
And yet he never gets reprimanded or learns anything. He just stays friends with all the main characters. I honestly don't understand what the point of his inclusion was at all. The monkey guy who's Johnny's dance instructor is just funny.
Tippy toes, tippy toes. I don't see your tippy toes.
Okay, but that's actually hilarious. That's actually hilarious. I'm 8 years old. The old Lion Rock star, Clay Calloway. Yeah, no, he's actually kind of boring. His thing with Ash is like decent, but his only character trait is that his wife died. Also, yes. He's kind of... Jimmy Crystal was a comically exaggerated villain who tries to kill Moon via fall damage. Twice. But that honestly works in the movie's favor. This movie should not be taken as seriously as I think they want it to be, and this guy is a reminder of that. He's menacing enough while also being kind of funny. Bobby Cannavale is amazing in this role. I hope I'm saying that right. Cannavale, whatever. And yeah, I think this is a good place to talk about the cast. The voice cast of this movie it's really good. I'll say that. The voice casting is really good. I mean, at this point, it literally means nothing to have famous voice actors in your animated movie, because clearly they'll sign on to absolutely anything as long as they're getting paid. But I really like Matthew McConaughey's energy as this little koala dude.
No, stop!
Taron Egerton's voice is just incredible. In speaking and in singing, his cover of I'm Still Standing from the first movie was honestly great. Scarlett does great as a teenager, Reese does a great overworked mom, Tori does a great shy person, Halsey, whose name I only know because she was featured on Boy With Love, has just the most fun to listen to New York accent when talking that I love.
Oh my gosh, I'm like so into vintage right now.
Also, her singing voice is great. Bono, whose name I'd never heard before this movie, gives such a great performance as this sad rock star hermit that I pretty much forgot how generic and lame his part of the story was.
The first time I leave home in 15 years, and what do I find? The show's off, and this guy's hiding in a suitcase. Okay, Porcupine. We're not talking about...
I also think it's kind of funny that Bono just sings his own songs in the movie, like Clay Calloway's just a stand-in for U2. I think I've mentioned this before, but characters for me are usually what make or break a movie. If I don't like the characters, I don't like the movie. If the actors don't act well, or the voices don't fit with the characters, or they overact or whatever, I don't get a sense of them because I'm too distracted by the terrible performances. But I gotta say that, like, I know these characters. I know all of them. I know their names. I know what they're all about. And that's all thanks to these immersive performances.
Klaus has thrown you in the deep end and drained out all of your confidence, like...
And at the end of the day, we're still talking about Illumination. This movie was targeted at no one over the age of 10. I'm sure of that much. Why else would they make everyone animals? Why else would they just constantly play pop songs? Why else would they have Ash say out loud,
"This is all because you lost your wife, isn't it?"
So I think we all need to dial ourselves back a few notches. I've been comparing Illumination's movies to studios like Blue Skies, when really they're in an entirely different league. If I was like 8 years younger watching this on a Saturday after I just got done with a bowl of Cheerios and finished my multiplication tables, I don't know, what do kids even do? If I was watching this as an impressionable kid, I'd have a blast. I don't think I'd give a shit about the animation. Even though the choreography leaves a little to be desired, I'd still like the musical numbers because they sound cool. Even though there's too many characters, their throw stuff at the wall approach will inevitably make me get attached to a few of them. And at the end, I'd walk away with a good feeling because honestly, the ending scene of this movie made me smile. It was nice. Somehow, this shot right here of everyone riding home on the bus after the show gave me genuine happiness. I was really confused at that because of the crazy shit I had just seen, but I accepted it. And the more I think about Sing 2, the more I realize that Sing 1 was actually also good. I'm recalling the details of both movies, and it's occurring to me that at their core, these are the same movie. What grabbed me about this one was that it was just bigger and more epic. But then when you go back and watch Sing 1, it's still a character-focused story with a musical show as the inciting incident, and a bunch of isolated character conflicts that come together and wrap up in the final scene, just on a smaller scale. And still, there's a lot about that movie that doesn't work. Most of the character conflicts are incredibly generic, there are a bunch of stupid events, and the animation sucks. But I'm trying really hard, and I just can't rationalize hating the first movie more than the second. Again, these are movies about one of the funnest things to do in life, and how it helps these characters grow. Man, my entire worldview is crumbling. Who am I? Has my hatred of Illumination really just been a product of my sheep brain hopping on the internet bandwagon this whole time? Has this studio actually been perfectly competent this whole time? Okay, no. Despicable Me 3, Minions, The Grinch, The Lorax Hop, and both Secret Life of Pets still suck. And with Minions 2 and the Mario movie on the way, I fully expect Illumination to return to their streak of pandering trash. I guess it was nice to have this breath of fresh air though. So whenever I give a movie a rating out of 5 stars, or out of 10, I always look at this little reference model I copied into my Letterboxd bio. I have a list of general phrases I would use to summarize the experience I had with whatever movie the rating is assigned to. Next to 3.5 stars, or 7 out of 10, I have written major highs, many minor lows. That might be the best description I can give of Sing 2. It hits a lot of highs in the musical scenes and drags in many individual places with the mishmash of character arcs all inexplicably thrown in the same movie. The highs, however, cannot be ignored, and I am happy to say that I would not be opposed to watching this movie again. And I did. I've watched this movie twice. Mind you, that was because I had it rented on YouTube and it was easily accessible to me during a stretch of my week when I had nothing going on, but still. God, maybe I do just have the brain of an 8-year-old, but sue me, okay? I like to have fun with my movies. And what this one might lack in serious moments, it makes up for in just good fun. Sing 2 is not incredible, but the fact that it's just good is incredible in my eyes. Congratulations, Illumination. You made something worthy of public attention. Worthy of the $25 it cost me personally to rent this movie because my dad refused to take us to see it in theaters. Worthy of me spending 90 minutes watching these characters doing things that aren't completely boring or infuriatingly stupid. Ugh, this does not feel good at all. I hate complimenting this movie. I gotta find something to be mad about. I'm mad at this movie because it could have been me. Stuck in my head for weeks, and if you know me, you know that focusing on schoolwork is very hard for me, and if there's a song stuck in my head, I can basically forget about doing any schoolwork if there's a song stuck in my head on repeat, and I really need to see someone about getting diagnosed for it. The last thing I want to say is just, Illumination, please don't do Sing 3. I know you want to, I know this movie was big for you, and I know you know that no matter what you put out, it's gonna do well. But for the love of Seth MacFarlane Mouse, stop here. Just stop. Just cut it out. End it on a sort of high note. Get it? Because it's a movie about singing and there's notes and sing. Just leave good enough alone. You made the wrong choice with making Despicable Me 3. That movie sucked all the ass. Don't do it again. Try making some original stuff, and maybe you can join the ranks of the real animation studios and be genuinely respected by internet critics. Because that's the only important metric, being liked by I Hate Everything and Schaeferless Productions. This movie was a decent first step toward greatness. Please keep this going. After Minions 2 and Mario, of course, because I have zero faith in those projects. Hi, new friends, and thank you for watching this thing that I did. I appreciate all your patience with my upload schedule. By upload schedule, I mean I have no upload schedule. Now, if you're a new friend to this channel, well, hi. you should subscribe. It's really cool. Everyone's doing it. I've started focusing my channel more on movie reviews like this one, so expect more of that if you subscribe. And I guess here's where I'd usually insert my own subscribe card, but today I'm actually going to shout out a few of the channels of my subscribers who make videos that are kind of similar to mine and that you might like. So check my boys out and get them to 10k subscribers, because honestly they have a lot of potential and their videos are pretty neat. I sounded a lot like Shay Frillas when I said that just now. And I just want to take this opportunity to remind you that I'm holding a profile picture contest. The window for entry lasts until May 31st. More details in the video that's on the screen right now. I really need a good outro.